everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Natasha May and I am so excited to have you here. It is my first video of 2022 and today we're going to be talking about the books that I read in December and what books I would like to read in January. So grab a tea, a coffee, something to sip on, a nice blanket, cozy up, and let's talk everything books. December was actually a very busy month, as for all. We had family, we had Christmas, I was doing a mentorship, I was doing work training, I was doing a lot of stuff in December. And so because of that, I didn't actually read a lot of books, but I did listen to a fair few audiobooks. So I'll talk about those and then we'll get into my January to be reads. So the first book that I read in December, listened to on audiobook, was the Plus Unpacked by Portia MacIntosh, and it was an interesting book. I really liked it. I liked the style of her writing. I liked the characters in the book were really fun, and they were just, you know, characters that you're like, I would like to be their friends. They seem like fun people. However, you could tell the ending from the start. It was really funny. There was moments where I was actually laughing, which was really great, and enjoyed listening to it. I think maybe I would have enjoyed reading it a little bit more. Do you know some books when you're like, I would have liked to have read this book instead of listened to it? Sometimes I feel that, and sometimes I feel like I really enjoyed listening to this rather than I feel like I would have really struggled to read this. I can sometimes find it really hard to just think which books am I going to read and which books am I going to listen to on Audible, because it can be tricky sometimes. But yeah, I did enjoy that book and I feel like I would have also enjoyed reading that book. But overall it was an enjoyable listen. The next book that I then listened to in December was I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart. It was in my to be reads for December and I listened to it. It was so good. I would highly recommend. This is one of the books, like I said before, when you're trying to decide, do I want to read this or do I want to listen to this? I would listen to it on Audible if you have the chance, if you have that as an option, because it's Kevin Hart actually reading the book, and there are moments where like he's speaking into it that's like outside of the book, and then there are moments where, like, you know, he's bringing his character into it, and when he's telling a joke in the book, it's him actually telling the joke in real life. And so I found it really awesome to just like have Kevin Hart read his own book to me. It was really cool. So if you can, that's one of the books I would recommend listening to rather than reading, because I think listening to it, I enjoyed it a lot more than I think I would have if I read it. But it was a really interesting book, just finding out Kevin Hart's journey to his fame and how did he get there, what was his motives, what was his drive like to actually make it to the big screen. So that was a really cool book, and I actually learned a lot about him that obviously I didn't know before, because he's not my best pal. But yeah, I did enjoy listening to that book. Next up, I listened to the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. There was a lot of stuff in it that you just made you really think. So C.S. Lewis writes in this book from the perspective of a demon writing to his nephew who is in training. And so the concept of the book is that demons are assigned to humans to draw them away from God, and they have all these strategies that kind of they can use to get the humans away from God. And so that's kind of the concept of the book. If you're interested in Christianity and religious types of books, it was really eye-opening, like the way that you think about, oh, wow, I didn't think about that before. It does have a lot of those kinds of moments. It was pretty heavy, and I think it's something that I'd have to listen to again or get the actual books that I could use. Alright, sorry guys. My camera ran out of storage, and like my SD card ran out of storage, so I had to quickly go and change that, but we're all good now. So yes, this is the Screwtape Letters. I would highly recommend that book if you are someone who is into religious thoughts and things. Next up in December, what I listened to on Audible, which was actually my last December book, was They Both Die at the End by Silvera. Once again, I'm sorry if I pronounce any of the authors' names wrong. Please correct me down in the comments. I'd rather you correct me, and then I can be right going forward. I will not be offended in any way, so please correct me if I pronounce any of the authors' names wrong. But this book was really good. I zipped through it so quickly. The idea, the storyline behind the book is that these two boys find out it is their death day. There's this company that has somehow figured out that they can find out when everyone is going to die. They don't tell you how you're going to die, but they do contact you on the day that you're going to die. So they just call you up and say, hey, it is your death day, and there you go, we're sorry to lose you. These two characters are playing out on their final day, and you get a mix of other characters as well, and the two boys end up colliding and they join together for their last end day, so they spend their last day together. For January, the books I will be reading, let's start off with Audible because we're already on that Audible train, so we'll just keep that going. The first one was The 4-Year Career, and I've actually already finished it. It's a very, very short listen. It was just over an hour, and it's all about network marketing and how network marketing works and just busting all the myths, I guess, about network marketing. I know a lot of people think it is a scam, and as soon as you get into network marketing, people are like, what are you doing? You know, and it's a bit of a taboo topic. A lot of people don't really talk about it. That was a really interesting book to just kind of listen to and go, wow, okay, network marketing is actually a really clever idea and it actually works. I really enjoyed that book. It's one I will be listening to again later in 2022 just as a refresher because it was so quick and he just sped through a lot of stuff really, really quickly. I'd like to, the same as the Screwtape Letters, actually listen to it again and take some notes and do it more of a study, but I just wanted to get the first listen done to kind of be like what it was about and things like that. One of the books that I said I was going to listen to in December, which once again I've been avoiding it for a while, is Atomic Habits. And the reason why I've been avoiding it was because I was like, I don't want like a heavy book. I don't want like, you know, like I want to be able to just listen to a book like a romance or like a comedy and just be able to enjoy it, and I don't want to feel like I need to take notes. But then I did so many of those types of books in December where like I was like, oh, I should be taking notes. So I finally started Atomic Habits and I'm 2 chapters in and I'm like, wow, I should have started this way, way long ago. The way that it's written, the way that he describes things is just so like, I wish I'd thought of that before. Oh, I wish someone had told me that before. It's just really eye-opening. So at the moment I'm listening to that. It is very, very good so far. I do want to take notes on it, so I'm not sure if I'll listen to it once through because it's only about 5 hours. So I might listen to it once through and then do it again as a study. There's so many of these books that I want to listen to again deeper and like grab understanding from it. I do want to buy Atomic Habits though, so that I can go through and highlight and take notes all throughout it. This is one of the books that I think I would recommend as a audiobook, but also as a hardcover. I'm really enjoying just listening to it, but then I'm also like, I'd really love to just highlight and take notes. And yes, so I will probably be buying that book and listening / reading to it again later in the year. Normally I like to listen to 2 audiobooks at a time. One which is kind of more of like a heavier, typically theologic, like religious book, or in this case like Atomic Habits, like that kind of vibe, like finances, habits, careers, anything like that. I'll listen to that kind of book, and then I'll also listen to like a fun romance out of this world, like fantasy type of book at the same time, like fiction. I'm currently listening to Atomic Habits in this bubble, and then in this bubble I'm listening to The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. I didn't actually read much about this audiobook, I just heard that it was good and so I got it, and so I don't have much to tell you about it because I don't honestly know much about it and I don't want to. Sometimes I like to go into a book knowing what it's going to be about. Sometimes I like to go into a book just not knowing anything at all, and I'm the same with my movies. Like I hardly ever watch trailers. I'm just like, oh yeah, the cover looks good, I like the actors, so in this case like I like the author. I'll just dive in. So I can't tell you much about this book because I don't know much about this book. So the next book that I'm going to listen to after I listen to The Dictionary of Lost Words is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book has been suggested so many different times. I've heard so much about it. The reason why I want to listen to it is because Ava Jules mentioned it in her book she must read in 2022 video. I really love Ava's personality and I love watching all of her videos, and I just thought if she's enjoyed this book, I would love to give it a try. The way Ava explains it is that this woman has these 7 different marriages, and the book just follows us through why each of the marriages happened and what came from each marriage. So it sounds really interesting. Ava said it is a very kind of sadder book, and I haven't read a sad book in a long time. So sometimes you just like having a bit more of a sad book. So that will be the last audiobook on my list for January. Of those, please leave some recommendations for books that you would recommend as Audible books. I do have a few recommendations from friends, but I want to read them as hardcover books. So like I mentioned before, sometimes it can be hard to decide what you want to do. So that's the end of like the books that I want to listen to on Audible for January, and now we'll get into some of the books that I will want to read in January. Like I mentioned, I didn't get through my December reads, so these 3 books over here are actually from that video, so I will link it in the bottom and I'll have a link to it right at the end, so that if you haven't watched that video yet, go and watch that video, because I'm not going to talk much about these books because I did talk about them in that video. The first one is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. As you can see, I have started it. I'm about 100 pages in. I was reading here and there throughout December, but honestly didn't get a lot of time at all. So hopefully I will get to finish this one. It is a reread for me. There's a lot of stuff that I forgot that happened in the book that I'm like, oh my goodness, yes. So yes, I'm enjoying this book and I will continue to enjoy it until I finish it, hopefully within January. Next book for January, like I said, I'm not going to go into them too much just because I do have that already in a video, is Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. So very excited about this one. I have read Eleanor and Park, really loved it. So I was very excited to get my hands on this one in December, but I obviously didn't get to it. So hopefully I'll get this one done in January as well. And my last book for January, hopefully I get there because I loved the first book in this series, is One of Us Is Next by Karen and McManus. So I'm very excited to get to this book. The first book was really great. Once again, not going to go into it. If you want to hear about this book or any of the other ones that I've just held up, go and check out my to be reads for December because I do talk about them more in that video. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you did get this far, please leave a recommendation of a book you will be reading in January down below, or even just a book that you would recommend anyone to read within the year of 2022, and I will be checking them out. The book recommendation you put in the comments might end up in my next video for my February to be reads. Thank you so much again for watching. Please make sure to like this video if you've enjoyed it, leave a comment down below and subscribe to become part of our channel. If you would like to, hit the bell button. That will notify you each time I post a new video. And also, if you're interested, I do post almost every single day on Instagram. So if you'd like to be more updated on my life, head over to my Instagram. It's the exact same as my YouTube name, but I'll also put it here on the screen. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you next week on Thursday for the new video. Bye!